This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Here we go, OverDrive, off and running, TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, up on TSN 4, up on YouTube Live, on TSN's YouTube channel. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
What's going on?
What's going on?
I told you last night, I'm taking a stand. I won't put up for people abusing you online about your McKinnon take. And I won't stand for it.
I appreciate that
it
greatly. Thank you.
You're more important to me than clicks and people going after you online.
Well,
and I'm not putting up with it.
Thank you. And that means a lot to me. You stepping in because I was taking bullets.
I know you've seen the abuse, and it's terrible.
I was taking a lot of heat.
There's some people that went overboard, and I just don't stand for it, nor will I put up with it.
And that's why you're the best. That's why you've matured.
Brothers before everything else. That's what it is.
That's what matters.
That's it.
Love it.
The circle of trust, the tree of trust right here. I don't climb off the tree, and I'll never jump off. I'll stay on it, and I battle with you.
I'm right there with you.
As dumb as your comments were, it's always about the tree.
Well, now that we're still talking about it, it does make me wonder, will that be the lasting image from a Canadian perspective, for the rest of time? Remember when McKinnon missed the empty net? Is that what we're going to remember?
So we talked about it yesterday.
Hayes, man.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those two, or just Hughes scoring and the breakdown 3-on-3.
Yeah, I think. Didn't you say? Wasn't it Ray that said if Hellebuck doesn't have a painting of that over top, the overhead shot of him reaching back on Tays on his mantle by this weekend, then he's not doing
I said the same thing, that the size of the painting. I don't even know what kind of room that would go in because it would be gigantic.
So that's the U.S. side. On Canada, what you're saying, Hayes, is McKinnon, that wide open net, and him healing it and it hitting the post. And he kind of, you see the body language, he just goes, like it. So is that on the Canadian side?
Yeah.
Is that where we feel?
Maybe. I mean, I do kind of feel like, McDavid may have been the face of it all because of who he is. And, everyone's got a different opinion on his legacy, his history, what's going to happen with him in the future. Man, people are not happy with me or anyone else that has any opinion on that. He's Connor McDavid. He's the best player in the world, generational guy. You're allowed to have an opinion one way or the other. There's no right or wrong. But, where you stand on his career, his legacy, what could happen, people are uber sensitive, especially in Edmonton on that, and I understand why. But it does
what are they saying to you? Are they saying, why do you have to bring up McDavid?
Yeah, just, I believe winning matters. Call me crazy. I don't know. Maybe I'm a crazy guy. I think winning kind of means something and matters, and you got to have wins. And the goalpost, you can't move him because he's McDavid because you want him to have wins. I was rooting for him. I was as loud as anyone else. I was itching for him to win. I was dying for him to win. It's 3 straight years. And, we can talk about the individual accolades, which he has all of them. He has every individual accolade you could ever have. But in the biggest games, I thought he was good the other game. I thought the whole team was good. I thought he was good, but he didn't break through. He didn't break through in Game 7 of the Cup final the first year they got there in 24. And it's the old saying, heavy is the head that wears the crown. When you're the man, you have higher expectations. There's more of a spotlight on you. No one's asking, hey, how did Brendan Hagel play in that game? Was Sanheim good enough? No one cares, with all due respect. It's the best players. But I guess what we're getting to is maybe McKinnon's at the forefront of that because of the miss, because of the stuffy, his reaction to the stuffy.
Let me ask you this, and this is an honest – we might even have to have a poll because we're having some fun with it. How many of those stuffies made it on the plane home?
0.
From the Canadian side. Maybe the U.S. side.
I think they went in the trash can in the dressing room.
No, I think the guys who have kids, there's potential that they made it home. I think there's actually great potential that at least one of them made it home.
So out of 25.
One, for sure. I'd bet 100%. I'd bet money on that. My Jerry's that at least one made it back. to the continental U.S. or Canada.
Yeah, I'll say one made it back, but
At
if I
least
know
one.
if it was me, you guys have seen me dispose of some things.
Yes, I've seen you dispose of a lot. Yes.
So it would just be into the dressing room, right into the.
I get it.
It's
And I think
everything. It's like the mood. You're getting a
we all
stuffy.
do it.
It's yeah.
But if
Do you
you know
remember-
what it's like, you got kids, you got young kids. You're like,
I
yeah,
totally
give
get
to
it.
them.
And if you got a young
Give it to
kid
one
at
of
home
them.
that's 3 or 4 years old, you're like,
Yeah.
here's what I got at the Olympics,
There you
and the
go.
kid would love it.
Very
So
exclusive.
yeah, a couple made
Very
them home.
exclusive
So the
stuff.
chances that Nathan McKinnon stuff he made at home are what? 0?
0% on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
0.
0.
I don't know if it
0%.
made it to the dressing room.
I
But
don't
think he
so.
skated off the ice with that, and that was tossed into the nearest garbage can. And he's a competitive guy, and I'm having fun with it, but I'm not lying. I just knowing what I see of Nathan McKinnon, he wanted nothing to do with it. Like he was so rattled.
That
with
is
guy.
100% true. And
But-
listen, it's interesting what's going on. Like the American team, they're obviously at the White House right now. Videos are starting to come out, and the party is just excessive. Like that's the other thing. If you're a Canadian player, I'm not even talking as a Canadian hockey fan. Like if you're a hockey fan, you probably just return back to your life, you move on. But if you're one of the Canadian players, like it's not going to be to the same extent as a cup parade or cup party. Those go on for weeks,
Yeah.
well into the summer. These guys will return to business as of tomorrow.
Tomorrow, literally.
Yes,
Tomorrow.
literally as of tomorrow. But the party in Miami and the video out, on the tarmac, now they're at the White House. Like, it is not stopping their party. And them having a great time, which I totally understand, and I think they're totally warranted of doing that. I think my response or my message to any of these players would be, go have the time of your life. You've earned it. You deserved it. Go have a blast. When you wake up Wednesday morning, it's over. That's it.
Yeah.
It's done. The Olympics are done.
And you're getting paid by your club team.
Yes.
And they're playing either potentially that night or Thursday night,
That's
depending
right.
on your schedule.
When you
That's
wake
it.
up Wednesday, the Olympic party's over. Have a
That's
blast
exactly
today. Tonight, you had all Sunday with your team, Monday in Miami, Tuesday in Washington. What a ride. What a ride they're on. They're getting treated like gods down there. They're on every big station, every big TV network. They're literally in the Oval Office right now. It's probably they're probably just on cloud nine. They can't even comprehend what the hell is going on, half of them right now. But as you wake up tomorrow, it's business. Like, that's got to be the message. You've got to put the
Some
Olympics
are
behind
more
you.
urgent business than others. Like
For sure.
Austin Matthews and the Leafs, like they
got
have a
business
big
to take
3
care of.
games here where it's almost like I don't know. We can't keep saying we were saying do or die before Christmas. You know what I mean? They were going on a road trip. They had this, and we were like, if they don't get 7 or 8, it's probably over. It's probably over. Who knows? But it's definitely desperation time.
What changed it, maybe, Brian, you could speak to this too. They won those 3 before this break. And I think had they only gone 1 and 2 in those 3 or something, and you're 8 points out or you're 10 points out. 6 is a big number. I know the numbers, and just based on the division that you're in, that's the problem. If they were in a different division, they're in the Pacific or they're in the Metro, I think there's more of a chance. But based on the division they're in, that's what mathematically makes it a lot tougher. I had a friend
we
say
got
to
a
me
guy
yesterday,
today, Johnny. He'll have a mathematical breakdown. He'll basically give us the math, the optics on this one.
I've heard as much as they need to go 16-9. They need to go, 18-7. Like, again, what is the cutoff point? We don't know. People are saying 95 points, 96, whatever it is. It's going to be a high number. That's what I think it is. That division, unfortunately, that conference, I think those wild card spots are going to be the mid to higher 90s, and you need to get that. So you just do the math with the Leafs. It's not impossible because they got to get on a run. And the weird thing, Brian, I don't know how you feel about this. There's teams that probably didn't want to shut down. They were Columbus was on fire.
That's right. Columbus,
Buffalo was on fire. Like and now you come back and it's like, okay, did the goalie eat himself into oblivion? Did you have this guy not work out? Did you don't know what you're coming back to. It's almost like a new season.
That's very true. I mean, and there is going to be a team that that takes off, and there's going to be a team that falls apart. And we don't know who that is right now. Anyone can guess. You can bet on it.
You think a
on
comfortable
FanDuel.
team falls off? You think that there's an 18-wheeler out there?
Yeah,
for
I
a
do.
team that...
I do.
Really?
I really do. I think there's an 18-wheeler just because of how many games have to be played in 50 days.
Yeah.
You know, I think you're an injury or two away from that falling apart. You're a goaltender falling asleep for 10 games. You know, anything like that. Like, would I be – again, it's not even an 18-wheeler, but would I be shocked if Boston or Buffalo fell off? No. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. You know, Detroit has done this literally the last 2 years in a row. Been in the playoffs and just melted down the stretch. Now, maybe they're different this year. You know, their goaltending's been good. Their defense has been really good. But
they seem more stable.
They seem much more stable, and they're in a much more comfortable position. So I'm not sitting here saying I have a read on who that's going to be. I'm bracing for that. I wouldn't be surprised by it. Same thing applies in the Western Conference. But I think with the Leafs, you know, the fact that we're starting games tomorrow, they haven't made any trades immediately out of the break because some deals are starting to go down, would suggest to me that they're praying they can win the next 2 or 3 games, which I don't think is a good strategy, personally. I think that's fool's gold. But it would suggest to me what we might be moving towards between now and next Friday is not substantial moves, possibly the re-signing of a couple of these pending UFAs. And if that happens, then someone has been convinced within the hierarchy of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment this is a fluky offseason and they'll be fine next year. And that, to me, scares me. And I think it should scare Maple Leaf fans.
Doesn't re-signing pending UFAs kind of scare you? It's like
yes.
If they're on your roster and you're in this position, why the re-signing of them? Like what? That's what I don't understand.
Well, here's what I think, and maybe this is why you're starting to see some trades trickle out. Managers, as much as, you know, guys who have skin in the game. Kyle Dubas is over there, you know, a bunch of general managers and that. But there's been a lot of time for general managers to formulate plans moving forward. You know, whether you're in it, whether you're out it, whether you're on the cusp. You probably had to meet with owners and figure out the plan to, you know, for the next couple months and maybe the next couple years, depending on what you have to sell for your owner. There's a lot of time for these guys to formulate stuff. That's why you're right, Hayes. I'm surprised that, you know, it wasn't announced today, but maybe the Leafs have something in the can, either good or bad or something moving. But I think you're going to see some moving lead up to the deadline. I say it every year, and I'm going to say it again this year. I feel like all hell could break loose at the deadline.
It's possible.
And this might be the year that actually I'm right on that.
Maybe. But, again, if we're focusing on the Leafs here, though, Noodles, then, again, we don't know exactly what their plan is, and they're not going to tell us or talk to the public about it. But Tree Living knows it, Pelly knows it, ownership knows it. If the plan is, let's hope we can get in, that's not a plan. Like, there's no plan there. You know, if it's just, let's hope we can get in. If it is sold, which it could be, that, hey, we're better than our record would indicate. Our goalies have been banged up. Matthews took a while to get going. We've had some weird seasons with weird players. Our division's crazy good for some reason this year. We don't think that'll be consistent into the future. Let's just kind of ride this out, get to the finish line, reset, and try to go back at it next year. I don't love that plan. In fact, I really don't love that plan. But it would be a plan. You know, it would be something that they've sold to ownership and maybe old ownership is accepted. But that's what I'm bracing for. I could be wrong. I mean, maybe they trade McMahon and Lawton and Ekman-Larsson and they move off a couple other pieces and they bring in a ton of picks and prospects and say they're really going to reset the books and bring in a ton of collateral for other moves in the future. And they got to reload and restock the farm system. And this is their big 2 or 3 year plan. But I'm not holding my breath that that's going to happen.
Dude, restock the farm system. That has to start from, like, square one. I just want to go back to one comment. I just don't understand, like, what expertise Keith Pelly has in assessing this organization as a hockey team to say, like, are you telling me he's going to dictate which avenue?
Well, that's his role. Like,
I think
he's
you have
the
to trust.
But what does he know about
boss?
I know, but what does he know about what direction a hockey team should go in? I just don't understand how he has expertise in that.
He doesn't. The answer is he doesn't, but it doesn't matter. he's
I
the guy
get
who
it.
makes
So
the call.
I just so somebody just gets pulled in from a European golf tour, and he's an expert on which direction a hockey team
I
should
think
go
his
in.
job.
I find that confusing. I'm not going to lie to you. I find it confusing.
His job is the business side. What you need to do is trust your workers. That's the biggest thing. You need to trust your workers. Okay, then it's
Tree's decision to decide what to do with the hockey team.
It should be Tree's decision. He's the general manager. Now, in previous years, it had to go up the chain to Brendan Shanahan, who took it to the board and all of that. Now that avenue is gone. It's, I would imagine, Tree goes to Keith Pelley and says, this is what I'm doing. And Keith Pelley goes, you're the hockey guy, have at it. And if I don't like what I'm seeing, I'm going to head in a different direction. But that's Keith Pelley, that layer is gone, and that's what people were talking about is I understand the move, but what they did is take a really smart hockey person out of the room in Brendan Shanahan. Maybe they'll replace him. MLSE has nothing but money, and they spend a ton of money. So at some point, I do believe maybe that role will be filled. But right now, I believe the chain of command is it's what Brad Treliving to Keith Pelley to Edward Rogers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a chain of command.
For sure. And I don't, to be fair to Keith Pelley, I don't think he's in there saying, well, here, I think Bobby McMahon should be traded here. Like, he's not doing that. But he is heavily involved. He is on the record saying that. He is on the record with us on our show. When we were at the Argo game, he's like, I talked to Brad and Craig every day. He said he talks to the coach all the time, which is not a line of communication I was familiar with in the past. The president CEO calling up Mike Babcock, 7 years ago and asking about things. But when I say it's his call, I mean he is Treliving's boss. Treliving has to sell it to him, sell him the plan. And ostensibly, Pelley could say, I don't like that plan. Right? Like, that doesn't mean he's going to be in on the X's and O's of exactly what the details are. But I guess what I'm saying is the more larger picture and the larger plan. If Treliving goes to him, for instance, and goes, let's go the other way. We're not good enough. It's going to take me 2 or 3 years. I got to trade this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. I'm going to redo this. I'm going to redo that. I'm going to get a new coach in the summer. That's my plan. Pelley may say, I don't like that plan. That's not going to work. Go come up with a new plan. Right. And guess what has to happen then? He's got to come up with a new plan, or he can quit. Like, that's the way it goes, So that's his role in it, and obviously Rogers' role in it. Ideally, it plays out the way Noodles just said. Hey, you're the guy. You go figure it out. And if you get it wrong, you're gone. And Treliving understands that.
You have to
Everyone
trust
gets
your
that.
workers. Yeah, absolutely.
You got to. And I would have to believe Pelley does. Have to believe he does. But he's the guy you gotta sell.
Yeah, you got to impress or whatever.
Yeah.
The word is, and again, keep in mind, Keith Pelley has a boss as well, and he's got to take that up the chain. And maybe the boss has, a drinking buddy that gets in his ear and says, you got to do this, and he sends it down. Like, keep in mind, we've heard stranger things with the chain of command. You hear it all the time where Daryl Cates in Edmonton wanted to do something, or it's Jerry Jones. How many times? Jerry Jones is in the room. He does make all the moves.
Exactly. What the hell did he know about football when he bought the team? But he's the owner, so he gets to make the call. The reason I think the Stamp Pat theory is possible is because of the Blue Jays' recent history. And obviously Shapiro has Rogers' ear, as he should right now. Yeah. And Mark sold him for years when Rome was burning. Be patient. Don't get rid of people. Let me do this. Let me figure this out. I'm keeping Ross. I'm keeping John. I'm not trading Vladdy. I'm not, and guess what happened? They won 94 games the next year and went to Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah.
So if I'm Treliving, if I'm playing the role of him and I'm thinking, hey, man, I might be on thin ice, I'm probably selling that pretty harsh. I'm probably selling it pretty significantly. Hey, remember the Jays 2 years ago? That can be us next year. Give me a chance to just retool here, figure things out. We'll be fine. It's probably something that would land pretty well with ownership.
I also think, though, the role of a manager, you have to be selfless, too, because you have to think what's best for the organization.
You think they do that, though, Noodles? Really?
I don't know, man.
How many guys say, I won't be here anyway when that thing is blowing up?
But don't you want to at least leave the organization? If you do, but don't you want to take care of the organization and have the best path forward, whether you see it through or not? Because how many times did people say, well, that was AA's team here in Toronto, he was willed. Nick Nurse took over for Dwayne Casey. You see all these things, right? Like sometimes a manager or a coach or whatever doesn't get to finish off the job that they started, but they help the process along.
If I was an owner or in another, I owned a bunch of sports team, and one GM had a crutch saying, look at that organization, it's a different sport, but I'll just do what the baseball team did, I'd have a hard time believing that. I would think that would just be a crutch, and you're just – because it's impossible just to say I can have a turnaround like that. Well, it really is. And it would just be – I don't know. Like, is that believable to say I can just turn –
It seems very far-fetched.
Yes,
I hear you.
Yes,
but
it is. It's a crutch. And
it's likely would be. But again, it may not – it may land is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying this is happening, but the Jays literally went from 74 wins to 94 in the World Series. And they didn't change that much. They really didn't make a lot of – it was internal improvement. That was their big thing.
I'm just telling you, if you think this team could turn it around and go to a Stanley Cup final, I'm sorry. You're sadly mistaken.
So if you were running the ship and you had full autonomy for the rest of this year, up until Game 1 next year, what would your plan be?
Well, I need some preparation to think what I was going to do, but on the fly, my first thing would be to go to Austin Matthews and say, "Are you okay if we're not that good for a couple of years or a year or whatever it's going to be?" Because that would be the first thing. If he says, "I'm not really into that," then you got a situation on your hands.
Well, I'll go shorter term here. In the next 9 days, you've got to figure out two unrestricted free agents, right? And what you're going to do with them.
Yeah, and that's what I said before, Jamie. If you're in this position with them on your roster, why do you see the value in retaining them and giving them more money than they're making right now and bringing them back? As much as I like Bobby McMahon and Scotty Lawton, everyone else who figured out that they just don't have it, they move pieces. The Boston Bruins traded Brad Marchand. So if you feel some attachment like you have to have Bobby McMahon and Scotty Lawton, you're insane.
Well, unless they have a plan to move other players around those guys and keep them. That's the thing.
Possibly, Jamie. But like I said, the Boston Bruins looked at their situation. They went to Brad and said, here's what we think. He said, not happening. So they said, see you later.
Right. Now, you're right. But Boston also had, I'll call it the luxury because they were bottoming out. Hampus Lindholm was out. Charlie McAvoy was out. They were shutting players down left and right. So it was like, okay, now we're going to do this. Now the captain's got to go because we are going to tank the rest of this season and try and go back at it next season.
Okay, the Leafs are in a more difficult situation because they're fully healthy and they're not that good.
But you're right. Oh, I'm not arguing with you about that. You're absolutely right. I was just about to say the Leafs are in a tougher position because they aren't shutting people down. They're outside. Chris Tanev skating. Maybe, I don't know if he's playing. I don't know what the situation is. But outside of that, I believe, are they not pretty healthy?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, presuming Willie's fine.
I love Chris Tanev, guys. He's a heart and soul guy. He's a shutdown D. He was fantastic last year. But if you truly are expecting him to have all that time off and come back after this break and be the guy that digs them out of this ditch, well, I think it's a lot to ask. It could happen. It could somehow miraculously happen. And I'm sorry if I'm sounding pessimistic, but I've watched it for 50-something games. You kind of get an idea what you've got here. And if you can't assess it properly, I don't know.
I think what you have to do is decide if you're going to rebuild your D. And, does that involve Morgan Riley or not? Does that, involve Oliver Ekman-Larsson? What does Larsson have off the top of the head? What does he have left on his team?
Got another 2 years at $3.5 million.
So, which, good value. Really good player, and you've got McCabe, Stetcher come on waivers. You got Carlo, situation. To me, I think if you're going to try and do something, you look at your defensive core and you reshape. We were just in the group text. Colorado's like, no, Gerard, we're going to move you. We need a bigger body on the back end, right? So you go and get Kulak, and Gerard's a fantastic player, but he's small, and they already have a small defenseman on the right side. But teams are starting to look and rebuild, or I look at the Leafs. I think they do need help on the D at some point here, whether it's here at the deadline or you're going to reshape it in the summer. That would be one thing I would look at.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. And I don't know how you can do that and keep Bobby McMahon and re-sign Scott Laughton, and because eventually the money just doesn't work. And you make a good point. If they're going to keep them and move other guys, okay, but what kind of value are you going to get with those guys?
Yeah,
it's easy to say, well, I'll just move Yarncroke and Domi will be gone. You're not getting anything for those guys.
Right.
So how do you get the pieces you need to acquire the defense? That's where maybe it's the picks you were going to get from McMahon, the picks you're going to get maybe for Laughton or prospects, or for Ekman Larson if he's not a part of the future and you got to change. Yeah. These are all things that need to be figured out, but the idea that, well, it'll be determined on if you beat Tampa tomorrow. That's a tedious plan.
That's a crazy-ass plan.
That's a weird plan.
You're right, and we can sit there and speculate, but until something happens, that's all we're going to do.
We'll know next Friday. That's the truth. We will know by next Friday if they're going to stand pat. And as I said, if they stand pat and re-sign a guy like McMahon, they're telling Leafs Nation, doesn't matter what you watch this year, this was a fluke. It wasn't our year. But next year will be our year, and we're going to be fine. And we'll see how the fan base reacts to that. All right, confirm coming up, confirm and deny. Johnny will join us. JR coming up, Jeremy Ronic. Best Bets coming up. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
I can neither confirm or deny that this is in fact a segment.
Boston trades Andrew Raycroft to Toronto in exchange for the rights to Tuukka Rask.
It's been my honor and a privilege to serve as the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey Club.
It's time for Confirm or Deny.
Do you regret giving all those gentlemen the no trades or no movement clauses?
I can neither confirm or deny that.
I can't confirm or deny.
All right, Confirm, Deny, brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink. And you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. So fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. The spring training's off and running, and the ABS system, I guess, has officially been implemented. The umps are not in a good place.
They're not having it, or
they're
what?
getting hammered with wrong calls already. I saw in the Pirates-Red Sox game, I think it was the second inning, and the umps were 0 for 3 already. Like, the guys are they're putting their hands up. They're like, yep, tapping the helmet, go give that a challenge. And it's like right down the middle of the plate, and the ump's got to chew on it.
Why? I don't understand why there can't be some kind. Here's my idea, Hayes, and you might think it's kind of stupid. Put some kind of screen in the dirt that the ump, if he has a question, he can just look and then call a ball or a strike. Like it's just automatic. It's right there.
Like his own review system right there.
Well, it's just right on the ground. He could look down and see the box where the ball goes in, and if he's unsure, he could just look down. It's very quick. It doesn't look stupid, and it's ball or strike.
Well, I think what is clearly happening, and out of respect to the umpires in the union, is they're not just getting rid of them altogether, but they're going to just get rid of them. This is the start. Because what's the point? Like,
right.
if you're bringing in this challenge system and they're wrong all the time and you have the technology, again, I don't like it. I've been very clear on this, and I don't like this because it slows the game down a little bit more. Not a ton, but a little bit more.
It just seems like umps are a part of the game.
Exactly. They have a personality in the game, and they factor in reacting to whether or not you like the strike zone or not, and having a feel for the game and the way the guys are pitching and who the guy is in the batter's box. Like there's something, I don't know, there's something like romantic about that in terms of sports and history and the role they've always played.
Traditional, that's what it is,
Yes.
Brian. Like what it is, you're taking all the personality out of it and the personal interaction. How many times do we watch a broadcast where it's like, geez, his strike zone is big today, or his strike zone is small, or he's calling this, and it's feel for the game. And that's, we always joke about it. Eye test and analytics. The analytics are the machines, and the eye test, that's taking some of the feel out. I don't know how baseball fans will work with it. I mean, watching the Jays in the World Series, if a guy blows a call, I'm pissed. I want the machine to call it. Yeah. But there is some,
Goes
it
both
is some
ways,
give and
though,
take,
right?
Yeah.
After
ways.
Confirm or Deny, I want to show you guys a little clip of that stinky old Jeff Kent with his analysis debut in the booth.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
I think I know you might be referencing. We'll get to that later on. But it just feels like you're just grandfathering this in, and eventually they're just going to get rid of the umps. And the umps have to know it. They have to know it. And it's just like rip the Band-Aid off. If you're doing it, go automated strike zone and just end it already. Yeah. Anyway, confirm or deny, the Blue Jays should sign Max Scherzer back for the season. Still unsigned, and some reports out there the Jays are kicking tires on him.
That's a complete deny for me. You have to know when you squeeze the last bit out of the lemon and it's just done. And what is he going to do, come back halfway through the season at his age? I don't see it happening, and I think you got the last straw, and I definitely deny doing this. But it seems like there's mutual interest, and it seems like it's actually some of the stuff I've read on Twitter, it's kind of like gone next level.
Possible, yeah, that maybe the Jays are kind of leading the race right now.
Okay, so could he fit in as a utility guy? Like, not a utility, but you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like as an extra player, and if it's not $15 million, maybe it's, a low deal, and you know what you have in him.
What are you getting them for? Like, are you literally getting him saying, I need him to get me one out in September? Or, do you know what I mean? Like, you're going to pay him $8 or $9 million to say, I'm going to need a guy in late innings to just strike one guy out, and maybe it's him? Why does it have to be him?
Yeah, here's the last thing I would say about it, and I don't have this answer. They have the answer. Was he a clubhouse guy? Was he a guy that was a gel guy, a glue guy in the room, in the clubhouse?
Maybe he was, Jamie.
And help some of the pitchers along. Like, keep that in mind, right? You got a young pitcher now that's coming in, and your ace, and this will be his first full year. Mm-hmm. Maybe Scherzer can help grow him. Maybe it is a situation where, is this Gosman's last year?
Gosman's last year in terms of his contract. Maybe they re-sign him. But, Tiedemann had an injury today. Tiedemann, I'm not sure was going to be a part of this team anyway to start the year. But that guy's had a lot of injury problems, so I don't know how much you can rely on him. Barrios, I still wonder what's going on with Barrios. Like, I'll believe it when I see it that he plays the whole year out, and he's, and the Bieber stuff we'll see. Because after Schneider told us last week, he's getting a little bit closer, it sounds like he's walked that back a little bit, kind of said, I guess we'll see what happens. Right. So, Scherzer, is it a stopgap thing? Why would he want to do that? That's what doesn't make sense. What, you're just going to come in, now you've missed the start of camp, so are you going to ramp up in time? Are you going to be available by the end of next month to even be a part of the rotation?
That's the thing. I love Mad Max. I love
it's
the
a
old
great
Mad
story.
Max.
It was amazing.
But to have tunnel vision and think that he's got to be your guy, I don't know. There's got to be different avenues.
Like I'm going to deny it, but if he's open to being like a long man out of the bullpen, I just don't see that. I mean, the guy's going to the Hall of Fame. He's been in the league for 20 years as a superstar.
Obviously, they have some. If they're kicking tires, they see something or they feel they need something, and they want to go back to familiarity, which is they're not going to have to spend $1 zillion on it. It'll be a 1-year deal, and it's like what type of thing. And that's kind of why I might confirm it.
Okay.
I'm not saying should, but I would
for
confirm
it. I understand that side of things, and he's obviously a clubhouse guy.
Right.
Like, he's rowdy. He's on his toes.
Got an attitude a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I don't think there's any downside to having him around. I just don't know what he's got left and how he fits.
That's be easy
the weird
to sign
challenge.
him and then retire him halfway through the season if there's no role for him or something like that. I don't know. I mean,
maybe.
I'll say yes.
Okay.
Confirm
I mean, I think Jays fans would love to see him back because the story was amazing. Him coming back against the Mariners, pitching in the World Series. The guy pitched in Game 7.
Screaming at John Schneider.
Yes. Like, it was a wild scene. This guy took the ball in Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah.
It was a crazy, crazy story, Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
Confirm or deny, Kyle Dubas will win a cup in Pittsburgh. Now we're getting crazy. I think he's doing some good work down there, man. I got to give him a lot of credit. Like, he's moving contracts out. He's bringing in. They have so many draft picks over the next 3 years, like more than any other team in the league in the top three rounds of the draft.
Okay, but when does the cup have to come? Is there a time frame? It could be 6 years from now.
Yeah.
He's on a 7-year deal, and he's 2 years in. This is year 3, I believe. So I mean, is it within that 7-year window? I'm going to say no.
If you're saying cup with this group, like Crosby group, no way.
No way. I deny it as well. I just wonder if he's got a long run there and he can turn things around.
He could certainly have a long run because managers, if they do a good job and they're able to retool on the fly, listen, they're in second. Did I see second place in the Metro? I thought I saw that.
Yeah.
I got to get back on these standings here. Like, when Joe from the Bridge put it up, I'm like, I haven't looked at that in 2 weeks.
You know what I didn't notice? I haven't been paying attention before was how far Jersey slid. That was jarring to see Jersey all the way down just in front of the New York Rangers.
The Hughes injury really killed him, and then, top 50 Dougie's in and out. Like, there's just the goaltending's been up and down.
Yeah, Jersey. I thought
They're
Jersey.
Done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Jack Hughes. I don't know if he's going to play because he's. I don't know if he's got to hit the dentist or what. What's up with that guy between now and when they start playing again? But
I think they play tomorrow against Buffalo. I thought I read so they've got some games.
There you go.
But at the end of the day, like, you look at those standings, man. Somebody's Pittsburgh's done a good job.
They've done a very good job.
But I'm going to say no. I'm denying it on Kyle right now.
Well, and I'll deny too because you got to replace Crosby, Malkin, Letang. They don't have that.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have
such a wild card. It's like who is going to be your superstars of the future?
Wave.
It might be a guy in junior somewhere.
The kid, Kindle kid looks nice, but he's young, right?
Really good. I don't know if he's a superstar. Like, I don't know if that's what he projects to be, but he's been very good. All right, confirm or deny, Jack Hughes has a chance to be the face of hockey moving forward.
Deny. I don't think that he's going to do that in New Jersey. Like if New Jersey was a powerhouse and they were ready to win and he backed up the gold medal and he hoisted the cup over his head, I think there'd be a good chance. But if Jersey continues the way they're going, it's just fizzle out, and then how can you be the face of hockey? He's in the right market for it, but the team's not very good.
This year. But I think he has a chance to be, and here's why. Hear me out. Mike Erugione, this guy's made a lifetime, a career on, being the face of
in the U.S.
Olympic.
Not around the
right.
world. In the U.S.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but Jack Hughes can be the face of hockey in the U.S. for sure. Massive market, only 7 markets other than that, right? Mm-hmm. So I think he has a chance to be one of the faces there. I don't, I think McDavid's the face, Crosby the face, all of that, McKinnon, but I think Jack Hughes could be one of those guys. He's only 24 years old, keep in mind, too.
No,
he's a hell of a player.
I mean, that's the operative word, chance. Yeah, if he plays his cards right. I think O makes a very good point, though.
Well,
you got to win and you got to be good in the NHL.
Of course.
You got to. He wasn't one of the faces of the American program until he scored. Yeah. Right, his brother's more of a face of hockey than he is. But he does seem to have a personality that he's got some. He's the way he interacts with the media. I could see people enjoying that. He's reportedly dating Tate McRae, or maybe seeing Tate McRae. That's going to help the profile.
Yeah,
that's a pretty big boost for your profile.
This guy's been injured this year, hasn't played a full season in 4 years. That's the
thing. He's hurt all the time.
Yeah. Well, I guess
I deny it because of that. He's hurt all the time.
I remember, and I'm going to only just quote him. I remember Wayne Gretzky saying he felt that the only player that had the talent to challenge Connor McDavid was Jack Hughes. I remember him saying that.
I remember him saying he's wrong, though. I mean, it's not. Well, I mean,
listen. I believe me. I'm not saying.
I understand. I remember the quote. I'm not pouncing on Gretzky. I'm not saying he's not entitled to that opinion. Of course.
Right.
I would guess 3 years later he'd probably say, "I'll take a bogey on that one."
Well,
Hughes is great, but he's not. He's not.
I mean, Hughes had 99 points as a 20-year-old. That's pretty good. Sorry, 21.
Really good player. Really good.
If
his
he can
brother's
get healthy,
better than him.
Quinn is ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah. Undoubtedly better than him.
Yeah.
Confirm or deny, Tiger Woods will play the Masters.
100% confirm.
Wow.
He wouldn't have had that dumb smile, and he wouldn't. If he wasn't going to play, dude, if he wasn't going to play, he would just say, I will not be playing in the Masters this year. And when the guy tossed out the question, he liked to throw out the horniness where he was like, it's not out of the question. And then he had the smile, and everyone got really excited. I would say 100%. But the question is this guy just going to – I think he's actually done it before where he just goes into the Masters cold.
Well, that's what he'll do. He's not playing anywhere else.
No.
We've done that every year for years. Oh, maybe he'll play at the Players or the Arnie Palmer. He loves Bay Hill.
Why wouldn't he play at the Players? It's flat. It's an easy walk. And
you're right.
He's got to get – wouldn't you think a guy would want to play one tournament?
He's 50 years old, though. What are you going to
that is a great point. It's almost like we just associate. We just call him Tiger Woods, and we don't even remember that the guy's fit. He should be on another
50.
tour.
He's your age, Joe.
He's
your
tour.
age. Yeah.
Go jump in a cart and fly around with Mike Weir and all the boys on that tour. That would be interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I'm denying it, man. I'll believe it when I see it. All these back injuries, surgeries, Achilles. They've been and this guy's one drive away from blowing his back out again.
But are Tiger fans? Is there fatigue in this routine? That's more my question to you guys. Is there fatigue going him? Yeah, I'm going to play, and then it's the ass grab come Friday.
He's not winning. Here's what has happened, Noodles. The biggest fan in the world, including Tiger himself, there's no illusions of him competing. It was there 3 or 4 years ago still. He's not winning ever again. It's not going to happen. And I think he knows it. So now you just go out and Sandy Lyle it. Go toot around.
Put some suspenders on with some fishing waders, like Sandy Lyle, stinky Sandy Lyle wore at the Masters.
Yeah. Just go Sandy Lyle.
He was wearing a fishing outfit with waders and suspenders.
Yes.
and a golf club. And
I want to see
rubber
him
boots on.
teeing off with Ian Woosnam and Craig Stadler in the old 7-17 tee time, and just go out there with the three of them and shoot 78, 79, and go home.
I saw that little Stads doing a putting infomercial. I don't know if I ever sent it to you, Hayes. He's a legend. Little Stads.
Yeah, he is. Him and
like,
Woozy.
what do you think Stads? And I saw Woozy out at the Masters. I think the guy's like 5'7". Little Woozy's wheeling around out there. You wonder, how is that guy moving a golf ball around this golf course?
Well, that with where they put the tees now, like Woozy, he must be hitting driver 3-wood into like 12 holes.
Dude, if you look at Woozy and Stad's face at that Champions dinner, they are piss drunk after the Appies.
That's
Their
my
faces
favorite
are
pick of the year.
furnace
Stads
face
looks like
red,
he can
man.
drink.
It's my
Craig
favorite
Stadler
picture
looks
of
like
the
he
year.
can drink.
Stads and Woozy, and they've always found each other. It's the two of them in the corner, just like tattooed on the side.
Do we have a picture? Like, we gotta find
I think Stads and Woozy get pissed and go out on the 18th green and start wrestling or something. Like, I think they do some stupid stuff on that golf course.
I love it. And they're champions, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. Nothing.
Love it.
All right, there you go. Confirm and deny, brought to you by Boston Pizza.
You want to hear Jeff Kent in the analyst booth?
Why don't we come back and play it? Because I think we have it. I want to hear what Jeff Kent has to say about modern-day baseball or past baseball escapades.
Legends. Yeah, legends.
OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Mike Johnson, Jeremy Ronic coming up. The NHL resuming tomorrow. NBA continuing tonight. Oklahoma City in town. Obviously, Shea not playing. Raptors a favorite tonight. But it's going to be interesting to see, the Olympians in particular, how they fit back into the fold. And I saw a report, or a reporter, it's not even a report, it's a reporter in Vegas saying that Bruce Cassidy has confirmed that Jack Eichel and Noah Hannafin are out tomorrow, so they're not playing.
Yeah.
And Marner, Stone, and Theodore are even to be determined. So the Canadians not guaranteed to even play.
I wouldn't roll like that. I get it. They had a long tournament. It's long travel, but it's like that's part of the gig. I think Prongs mentioned it yesterday. You guys go over there. I'd go win the gold, win the silver. But when that first game starts, you're back with your club team, and you better have your ass here, and you better be ready to play. Like non-negotiable, no excuses.
I thought about that today. The challenge for these guys, and they're going to have to do it, is their body clocks are still on Italy time, right? So they're going to be all messed up. And you even add the U.S. guys are going to be messed up because they probably haven't slept in 3 days. But the Canadian guys, that's a big time change to go back to. Mitch Marner going back to Vegas, that's 8-hour time change, I believe. Again, I think McDavid's got to play in Anaheim tomorrow or something like that, something crazy. You look at it, they're going to be messed up, but I think they got to find a way to do it. And that, to your point, they're getting paid. That's what they signed up for. You want to play in the Olympics, but I still come back to, I think the league messed up with the scheduling because there's just no time for these guys. And now you got to come back. Your body clock's going to be all screwed up. And, guess what? We've got 16 games for you to play in the next 30 days.
Right. It's crazy.
Crazy.
No, you're right. And, we've discussed it a lot, and they've got 4 years to figure out the next schedule.
Yeah.
And I get the rest of the league has been off, and the owners and the TV partners are sitting there saying, you guys had your fun. We got to get going again.
Yeah.
But the idea of finishing on Sunday and then playing 3 days later, resuming the league 3 years later is crazy. And I do wonder how many of these guys kind of want to play and how many of it is, sports science and the team saying we don't even need you because you may not help them. Matthews is an example. Matthews, he's on Italian, you talk about the body clock. This guy's been partying for the last couple of days like everyone else would. And now he's back on the road and he's up in D.C. And tonight's going to be crazy because, the State of the Union, I don't even know if you may fall asleep in there, honestly. You're hungover at that?
I thought I read that they were bailing on that and having a lunch and getting out of there. But I don't
know.
Wrong.
I read that was a possibility.
Hayes, the bottom line is, whatever your celebration is or whatever you want to do, you won the gold medal on Sunday.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
You won the gold medal on Sunday.
Or it's
right.
Wednesday, yeah.
But I guess what I'd ask is, and we'll get into it in the next hour, what do you expect? Let's say Matthews plays tomorrow. It sounds like he will. Berube said he expects him to play, which is, I think, code for you better be playing. Do you think he'll be great? Do you think he'll be a help to the team? What if he's out there and he's lagging ass and looks terrible? What happens?
I think adrenaline takes over. You get back out there and you play.
Okay.
These guys know how to play, man.
Yeah. Of course. And they're in the prime of their lives and careers. They're in the greatest shape anyone
I think
could
the first
possibly
game
be.
back, you can bluff it and go on you can just convince
back
yourself
to
and
back,
talk.
Don't they play
Night
back to back?
Florida
So you
the
can go
next
out
night.
there and bluff it and say, I'm just a great player, watch this. But then the next night you might be like, oh, my God.
He'll wake up in the middle of the night and go, where am I?
Yeah.
He's right. You're going
Night
from
two
Tampa to Florida. And
It'll be tough.
Anyways, yeah.
All right, hour 2 coming up. Overdrive continues. TSN app and up on YouTube Live.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Jeremy Ronic later in the hour. Mike Johnson coming up. Best Bets coming up. We'll play the Jeff Kent audio and video you were referencing earlier. What is he doing now? He's an analyst in the booth. And
Dude, I don't know if this is his full-time gig because he goes up there with this little mustache that he's had for 35 years, Jeff Kent. Remember that mustache, second base for the Giants?
Of course.
Just wheeling around out there. Hell of a player, by the way. And
Great
he just starts, I don't know, you just have to hear it. I do not think this is his gig. I think he was giving it a shot or was making a guest appearance or something. Because you could tell the guy he was talking to was just like, okay.
all right, let's just play it here. Like we can't keep getting into it.
Yeah, now you're teasing it. We need to hear it.
All right, Jeff Kent. I don't know where this is going. I mean, it's your clip, but let's hear what I think I know where he went with this, but I don't know the whole detail of where he is.
He's talking about like a dust up on the bases with A-Rod back in the day. Go ahead.
Right. Here's Jeff Kent.
Tore my knee up. He slid and rolled his fat ass past the base. The son of a and put me out for a little while. I was not happy about that because he was a middle infielder and we were beating him up pretty good. He didn't need to be doing that.
So, not that you've thought about it much since then, but
that's half empty right there, John.
But that was the one time I do remember that a guy really came in hard on you. But anyway, and
I would throw the ball. I would literally throw the ball between their eyes. If they came in and they weren't ducking down, I was throwing the ball right between their eyes. They better get down.
Okay, so he's talking about A-Rod there, Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, just calls him a fat ass and
shooting from the hip.
Stinky old Jeff Kent. He can keep talking like that.
Unbelievable. Like, I think that he's in with the Giants. I think that's John Miller, who's like an all-time great baseball voice. Remember, he used to do Sunday Night Baseball before Shulman did it, actually.
Yeah,
it was
him Morgan.
Joe Morgan. John Miller, Joe Morgan.
Those two were dynamite on Sunday Night Baseball.
Unbelievable doing Sunday Night Baseball. They were so good. And Miller's been I think the voice of the Giants for a long, long time. And that sounded like him. I'm assuming that's him. And he's just so caught off guard. Like, we've all been in that spot where you have somebody on and you're not expecting them to say whatever they're about to say.
No, they just start firing away.
Yeah.
But at some
hates
point,
Alex Rodriguez. Hates A-Rod.
Cut the mic or do something, right? Like, how do you?
I don't think he's alone either. I got a feeling all those guys back in the day. I don't know if A-Rod was well liked.
Doesn't sound like
it. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would be well liked.
There's something about him that's unlikable, and I can't put my finger on it. Like, this guy was, what is he worth? He's worth $500 million, probably more now.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just remember, like, you used to see his social media posts where it's just they were just painful. I don't know if you ever see anything. I don't have that stuff now, but if you ever see, like, it's just his cars and his planes, and it was just, like, insufferable.
Well, you know who hates him more than anybody on earth?
Cheater?
Jose Canseco.
Oh, Canseco.
Dude, Canseco used to wake up on Christmas morning and say, "Merry Christmas to everyone except Alex Rodriguez."
Yes.
But what is there? I don't remember, like,
I don't know.
an interaction.
Well, they were in Texas together, and I don't know why he hates A-Rod so much. There's obviously a backstory.
Yeah,
and I feel like there might have been a dating thing that happened too, that maybe A-Rod mowed his lawn or something may have happened there.
Dude, can we get Jose Canseco on? Just tell Dude.
Dude, he would Jeff Kent us for sure. Like, you can't trust Jose
man?
Canseco.
It's just a one-off before the baseball season starts to just have 10 minutes with Jose, talk about the Jays a little bit, and then say, why do you hate A-Rod?
Yes, I would love to know the answer on that.
Yeah.
Also, what happened when that ball hit your head and went over the fence?
Didn't he box too and got dummied? Like, was that him that went down in the ring?
I think he's got a twin brother too that possibly did that. Like, I don't know. His life is wild, man.
But it's not. But am I wrong? Wasn't Jose Canseco a boxer for a little bit? Like,
I don't remember.
Or is that like the Frank Stallone to the Sylvester Stallone?
That's what I'm saying. I remember I remember a boxing connection. I just don't know if it was him or his brother that did it. And he was a Blue Jay for a while. He was one of the 5 or 6 guys that have hit a ball into the 5th deck too. He
Dude,
may
you
have
remember
hit.
that guy? How big his arms were? That
Massive.
baseball bat looked like a toothpick in his hands.
Massive. Him and McGuire, Ricky Henderson leading off. The Athletics in the late '80s were insane.
Did he ever admit, was he on the sauce?
I'm
sure he was on the sauce.
He was the poster boy.
Crazy.
There was no bigger flex, though, than when he hit a homer and McGuire was waiting at home plate, and they were the first to do, the elbow smash.
Yeah, the elbow smash. I remember
that. Was just like a flex where it was me and McGuire were doing things that nobody can touch.
The best. The
best.
Coolest home plate celebration.
Yes.
Was Canseco and McGuire.
Yeah.
For sure.
Man, oh
yeah,
man.
What a team. Imagine having Ricky Henderson and Jose Canseco on the same team. And top step Tony La Russa was the manager trying to keep everything together.
They had that stinky old big monster Dave Parker on that squad out in Oakland. You remember that?
That's right. That's right. They were a great team. They were a World Series winning team. They were a great team. Eckersley in the bullpen coming out. I remember Eck coming out with his stash. That's one of the most defined mustaches in sports history.
No question.
He was relentless.
Dennis Eckersley, for sure. All right, Doogie, there you go. We got to find out what's up with Jose Canseco.
I'm watching it right now. He's in a Barstool intern fights Jose Canseco. It was during COVID. They all had face masks and shields on and stuff.
So he did fight. Okay.
I mean,
that seems to land. I mean, that kind of is consistent with what you would expect out of this guy.
Yeah.
We need to get more details on why he hates A-Rod, though.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline, here's our TSN hockey analyst, I believe back in North America. There he is, Mike Johnson. You back home, Johnny, or what?
I am. I'm actually at my cottage. Came up with the cottage for a couple of days of peace and quiet, trying to reset, sleep all day and all night, and enjoy the cold, the snow, and get ready to go to Florida tomorrow for a game on Thursday. It's wild to try to get plugged back in. It's crazy.
So, Johnny, give us a little bit of a feedback here or an idea of what the time change will be like for the guys that were over at the Olympics. What are you experiencing right now?
Well, it was 6 hours ahead, right? So the challenge is you get really tired, 8 at night for you, 2 in the morning for me. So honestly, one of my big takeaways of this whole event, I was flying home yesterday, and all I could think about was it's really tiring to have gone through this for me. I can't imagine the guys who played in the last day to now go back, do what the American players did at 11 in Miami last night, go to Washington today, and then Austin's going to fly to Tampa tonight and play tomorrow? It's going to be impossible. Body clock for sure will be messed up. The game will start at 1 a.m. body clock time. But even more than that, just sort of emotionally and sort of mentally trying to check back in, it's going to be impossible. And if you were in a position with the Leafs are not, I would, Nathan McKinnon, take a lap, take a few days, get yourself whatever you need to get to. Minnesota, Dallas, any team that's comfortable, I would not ask those guys to play until maybe the weekend. Just give them a couple of days to reset. But if you're Brady Tkachuk or Austin Matthews or Dylan Larkin, you don't have the luxury of doing any of that. So you got to go and get playing tomorrow, it's got to be really hard, though.
So Johnny, the fallout of winning and then the emotional, we'll call it letdown to come back to your day job. You think, who's it going to be harder for, the team that won or the team that lost?
Probably the team that won, honestly. I think that they're chasing this high. They've also had a big party for a little bit as well. And it would be hard not to be thinking about it all the time. I think, Noodles, if you lost the gold medal game, you almost would want to not think about it anymore. Let's put that behind us. Let's not worry about it anymore. Let's get back to playing and chase what we really care about, which is the Stanley Cup. You try to convince yourself that you're on to the next most important thing. Whereas the American players, they should rightfully want to revel in the moment and the experience and revisit it in their own minds with their families. They'll be getting celebrated at their home rinks. All of that stuff, I think, will make it harder for them to turn the page and get going than maybe the Canadian team.
Johnny, we were talking about the Maple Leafs kicking off tomorrow night, and you're obviously heading down to Florida. where are you at with this team? We were talking about, Hayes, where we're not talking about what they should do or what their game plan should be. Where are you at with just the overall big picture, Johnny? I know it's difficult and you're just jumping right back into it, but is it tough to be optimistic about where they could finish here?
I mean, I still think you look at the standings, right? To get to 97 points, which probably gets right around it. Maybe not. Maybe just in. What is that, 17-8? I mean, that's a tall task. That's going to be a challenge. And yes, they played a little bit better before the break. And, maybe the break, given the fact that Toronto actually, league-wide, had one of the lower numbers of participants in the Olympics, like maybe that will help them be a bit more rested. But I still am pessimistic. I'm still putting the odds significantly less than 50-50 that they will make the playoffs. And they could even play well with all those other teams around them that they have to pass, catch, jockey with. They're going to play well too, the other teams. So, I don't know, Jerry's percentages, mini Jerry's on the fly percentages. It's maybe 18% chance they make it. And if you go in the next 10 days looking at that with the deadline coming up, then you sort of react accordingly. You trade the guys you can trade, get what you can back for them, and sort of don't punt on this season, but don't act like you're a Stanley Cup contender, because it's way more likely than not in my mind that they don't actually even make the playoffs.
Well, that's the secondary step to it. Let's say they make it. Are you even good enough to go on a cup run? I mean, I guess we cross that bridge when we get to it, and maybe it turns into a miracle run. You got in, everyone's healthy, everyone's feeling great. You got a hot goalie, and, it could possibly
and the Atlantic
be
guys, right, Hayes?
Leafy.
Like you think
What's
about
that?
Montreal and Detroit and Buffalo, and these are not proven playoff successful teams. So maybe you could try to convince yourself, well, we make it. We get Montreal in the first round. Like that's a tough matchup. Montreal's been a better team, but they're not yet a proven Stanley Cup winner because they haven't really played in the playoffs before. So maybe, but yeah, I guess you cross that bridge when you come to it. But that's all part of the evaluation that Tree Living has to do, and do it in the next 10 days. Like, we're seeing trades go down. That little Sammy Girard trade for Brett Kulak was an eye-opener as well. But you gotta be honest with yourself. Are we really a contender? Last year, they sure were. This year, they don't feel like it.
So, Johnny, before we get back in the NHL, put a bow on the Olympics. Once you got there, the whole experience, there was so much buildup to the ice, to, the quality of the ice and where things going to be finished in that. Your experience, was it as advertised? Was it better? Was it worse? Would you have complaints or, feedback that you could give us that we weren't there, right?
So, for all the talk about the arena, the game playing experience for both the players and the fans was totally normal. Not noteworthy in any way, shape, or form. The fact that the neutral zone was 3 feet shorter, there's a couple offsides. Yeah, Macklin Celebrini might have been more onside than that little sliver, but the players adjusted. They didn't really notice it. The rink had 3 games a day, and you guys know what it's like at the end of the third game of a professional hockey team. It's awful. It was not great, but it was not any worse than Scotiabank was during the bubble playoffs when they played 2 games. It was totally fine. For the fans, they sat in the stands. The stands were well done, boards up, all looked normal. Now, if you want to walk to the concession stand, it wasn't very good. If you want to go down the concourse, there were some parts with some drywall that looked like I might have patched them together. It wasn't spit shined and beautiful, but the game experience and the television experience and the playing experience was exactly the same as anywhere else. So it was a non-issue for the players.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how everyone transitions back in. We've all got about 25 games to go. The trade deadline's going to come and go soon. We'll be into the playoffs before you know it. Who do you think benefited if you're a team in the NHL, let's say you're a team that has cup aspirations, who do you think benefited the most? In terms of their player, I'm guessing you'll say an American, but maybe you'd say a Canadian because he'll be inspired by losing. But is there a team out there that might be able to say, okay, this worked out well for us, like what happened at the Olympics here, and we're going to benefit from this the most based on our players returning?
The first one to come to mind would be Winnipeg. but they're so far out that Connor Hellebuck finding his great form is going to be inconsequential. They're not catching anyone anyways. I almost think, Hayes, given how exhausting the Olympic experience was, I'm like, what teams didn't send a lot of guys? And I know Hedman hurt his groin, but I think about Tampa. Like Points not having to go. Sorelli not having to go. Vasilevsky, Kucherov, Radish. Like all their best players, Hagel went. But like a lot of their best players didn't go that could have gone. They're already a good team. They were already sort of a cup contender. Like I think that team, as much as any, and it's not because anything that their players did at the Olympics, it's because so many of their players didn't go to the Olympics, that they will benefit from the 2 weeks off. And while Florida is like struggling to get their guys back in the roster, and when, whatever else is going around league fatigue-wise, I think they should feel healthier and more rejuvenated, other than Hedman, who I don't think was healthy to begin with going over there. And that's one of the stories, guys, about the Olympics. And like one of the lessons maybe Canada could have learned, but I think a lot of teams, players wanted to go so bad. Players were saying they were healthy and take me when they were not. I don't think Victor Hedman was healthy going over there. I don't think Brad Marchand was healthy going over there. The guys were going and they were getting taken, even though they were completely compromised. That's not a good move for the teams. Like I think you got to be honest with themselves, but that's a bit of an aside. But I think that was one of the lessons learned. Like, don't take guys who aren't healthy and hope that they're going to get healthy at that pace. It's just not going to happen.
Johnny, it was quite a negative comment by Brian Hayes, but he said earlier in the show that he believes there was going to be an 18-wheeler go off a cliff. If you could pick a team that was going to be an 18-wheeler, MJ, who would you say is potential 18-wheeler material? I know it's negative, but it was said on the show. I wanted to get your thoughts.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of teams that are in the playoff picture that could completely come crashing. Could Pittsburgh without Sid? Like, I don't know. They've been such a positive story.
By the way, is Sid going to be out a long time?
I don't know. The fact that he was going to be close to playing tells you maybe not. To me, it looked like a strained MCL. It's not that serious. That looks like a 2 or 3 week injury. He's already dealt with it for 1 week. So maybe that's one of them. In the East, I don't see like anyone really jumping out at me that's going to go for a plummet. I think they're all going to, Buffalo, we've seen them take a spill at times in the seasons. The Islanders are so reliant on their goaltending. Like I can talk myself into different guys, but right now, if I look at the East, like no one leaps off the page saying, okay, they are ripe for a crash. I think, which is maybe part of the problem for Toronto trying to catch these teams. Now, could Anaheim, to me, again, not necessarily related to the Olympics, could Anaheim take a spill, or Seattle? Yeah, because I'm not sure how good those teams are, and the teams chase them maybe could catch them, but I don't know. Maybe I'm feeling positive being back from the Olympics, but I don't know if anyone's going to completely come off the rails.
What about a team that was hot, Johnny? Like Columbus was red hot coming into it. Do you worry that that all of a sudden it comes off the gas? Buffalo was a team too, red hot kind of thing. Like, do you worry that the break kind of resets them and everybody's kind of back to square one type of thing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, however good you were feeling, you guys know, even like an all-star break, we played in Olympic breaks. If you're hot heading in, 2 weeks later, it's like training camp. Like all that's gone. You're just sort of starting over again. But I think for Buffalo Noodles, it might almost come at a good time because they went for hot for 6 weeks, and then they were sort of scuffling a little bit, and then they stopped. And you're like, okay, now they're back going. They kind of put that behind them. I don't think it's that bad for Buffalo, but I think, yes, this is starting from scratch. It is what do we have? 5.5 weeks in the season left, 6 weeks. And teams have to play 25, 26 games in 6 weeks. Yeah. Like four a week for 6 weeks. It's going to be so fast and furious, the game's knocked off. But what's going to be fascinating is that will teams be able to get an accurate read on where they are headed in the next 10 days, right? The deadline's next Friday. 4 or 5 games before that deadline, and teams got to make their trades and make their decisions starting over again. Like if you struggle out of the gate and you're Buffalo, you're like, oh gosh, we need something, or you're like, oh no, we're just warming up again. I think that's not going to be an easy decision to make.
No, that's the real question. Like, there are teams, the gap is somewhat significant for the Islanders. Let's say Sorokin comes back. He's been so good. Just his average down the stretch. That could put you in a very precarious position. But, Boston's 4 points in, Islanders 4 points in, Buffalo 5 points in. It felt larger 2 weeks ago. I don't know if that makes sense, but it felt like there was a larger gap, and now you look at it and you're like, you're totally resetting, back to the starting line. Yes, you have a 5-point gap, but there's 25 games left, so everyone's got 50 points there that are available to them, so to speak. I don't know. I don't have an answer for who I think it's going to be. I'm bracing for it because it's been one of those crazy years. It's been a very unpredictable, weird year in the NHL. Yeah. And someone's going to get hot on the other side. And do something
I look at
crazy
it though, Hayes. Like, what would be a terrible record for 25 games for one of those teams? 500? Like, there's literally one team in the East that's lower than 500, right? So you're like, okay, terrible. They play 500, so they get the equivalent of 30 points because let's say 25 games, they have a 5-point bulge. You got to get 30 points minimum to catch someone who does terribly.
Right.
You got to go 15-10, 16-9. That's like 640 hockey. That's a massive surge for a third of the season. Like, 5 doesn't sound like a lot.
At crunch time.
You start doing the numbers.
They all play each other.
If a team goes 10-15, sure. But no, they're not going to do that. No one does that. The terrible teams won't do that. They're all going to be around 500 or better, which makes it harder to leapfrog 5, 6, 7 points. Almost impossible.
Yeah, well, that's where, I guess the mental game comes into play. If you start counting the numbers and say, well, all we need to do is do this to get in, that's where I'm sure it can become overwhelming. But you're right. I mean, if Buffalo just goes 500 the rest of the way, they're in. Like, they're going to get in. They're going to get to 100 points, and they're going to get in, more or less, or 97, 98, they're probably going to get in. So, we'll see, and we'll see what happens after the trade deadline. That's going to determine a lot, which teams sell, which teams buy, who's healthy, who's not. Because, like you see today, Rantanen's going on the IR down in Dallas.
That doesn't sound good. They said before the end of the season.
Right.
Like that. I know that there's only 5-6 weeks left, but it didn't. That didn't sound like, hey, it's a couple weeks. Like they said, a couple weeks type of thing. But then the end of the season was brought up, like before that.
Means you don't know.
Right. That leaves the window open. I don't know what the nature of the injury is, but that certainly concerning for Dallas because he's such a big part of that team.
Yeah, I think when the sort of talk around the Olympics was going to be a while, like 3-4 weeks, which takes you right to the end of the year. Josh Morrissey. They're not going to guarantee that he's going to play 3-4 weeks. Again, Winnipeg, maybe it doesn't matter because they're not going to make it anyways. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that the Rantanen one's significant for sure. But what are you going to do? Hedman, I don't even know what he's going to do. Hurt himself in warm up. How hurt you got to be to hurt your groin in warm up and not play a game?
Johnny, how did Morrissey hurt himself? Did he get hit or something that I didn't see, or did he just pull something, or what?
I mean, I don't know. We don't have control of the picture, so we never saw a picture of him getting hurt. All I remember in that game was seeing. Yeah, right. We got in that game. I remember him coming to the bench and kind of wincing, sort of like grimacing. I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going on there. Like he might have got squished, but wasn't sure the severity of it. I spent like an hour talking to his brother at some event that I went to, Josh Morrissey's brother, and he didn't give me any indication whether he'd play or not the last 2 games, but he just sort of said, well, it'd be terrible if he can't play again for a little while. I'm like, whoa, that doesn't sound like he's playing in the final. That sounds like he might not be playing for a stretch. So, that's part of it. But if he comes back in 4 weeks and you're Dallas and you're sort of locked into that 2-3 matchup anyways, is it the worst thing in the world for Mikko Rantanen to get 3 weeks off here, 4 weeks off, and then come back for 10 days and play the playoffs? Probably not. Not a player of his caliber.
No.
Right. Especially the way he plays in the playoffs.
And they're deep into the they're
gone.
They're in the
Dallas
playoffs, so it's fine. They can they can rest and coast some players if they had
That's
to.
it.
Right?
But there's a lot of teams on the border that are not. Like Vegas is going to make it, but they're 5 points in, and their guys aren't going to play likely tomorrow. Edmonton's 4 points in, and they really struggled coming into the Olympic break.
They were terrible.
They were terrible. and like they're 4 points in. So, like they got to keep playing. They got to win and they got to get in.
Are you guys okay sitting out McDavid? Like if you're running Edmonton or Toronto or Ottawa, like pick your team. I'm not picking on Edmonton. You guys are running the team. How are you approaching Austin, Brady, Connor, all those
Better
bubble
be ready
teams?
to play. Better be ready to play, Johnny. We already had the discussion. I don't know what their managerial style is, but my philosophy would be you had your fun. The tournament was over on Sunday. So either win, lose, party, whatever, we play on Wednesday. That should be plenty of time for you to be back in good enough shape to be playing hockey, unless there's some different circumstances as the different players you just mentioned, Rantanen or guys with, comfortable lead in the standings. If you're in the grind, you better be ready to go. That would be my philosophy. I'm sure a lot of them are thinking that. They need it.
I think McDavid and the Vegas guys have cushion because nobody's catching them. You look at that, like LA's 4 points back. They just lost Fiala. Yeah, they might, they got Panarin. It might get them going. But is Nashville going to jump San Jose's 58 points.
It's probably unlikely.
In Utah,
They're
you
fine.
look at
Probably
Seattle. To me, the Vegas and Edmonton do have some luxury based on, again, the division they play in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what keeps coming back. So you better make sure those guys are ready to play when it matters for them, not the first 2 games coming back off of when you've got 25 games left. I would make sure they're healthy and feeling good before the stretch run. That would be my
I could see that being the plan for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny. Well, you gotta do that yourself, man. Get some sleep and get back on the road. Get back on the road down to
right back to the
Florida.
airport tomorrow. Oh my goodness, can't wait for Thursday night.
Dude.
Gonna be a fun one, man. Good seeing you, buddy. We'll do it again soon.
Yeah.
Mike Johnson joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. It's time to Toyota in the 2025 Prius. Go up to 72 kilometers on battery alone, then seamlessly switch to hybrid mode. Check it out at Maple Toyota, right near Canada's Wonderland in the Maple Auto Mall. All right, JR coming up, Best Bets later in the hour. OverDrive continues, TSN 1050 and up on TSN 4.
countdown begins.
It's the final day for 32 teams to find the perfect piece to complete their puzzle. Trade Center, presented by Harvey's on TSN.
Viclar versus Sirens, Thursday at 7 Eastern on TSN.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Don't be shy, shy, shy. La, 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 la.
All right, best bet's coming up later in the hour. I keep getting more videos sent to me of this ABS system in baseball. And it just seems like the umpires are not even close to getting any of these right. And obviously they can't challenge. It's the players that can challenge. It's either the pitcher, the catcher, or the batter. But the umps, man, they are.
It's like two different worlds. It's like the ump just having his own feel and his own strike zone against this computer thing.
Yeah.
Right. And listen, I thought spring training was about getting your feet wet as well for the umps. Like they're just getting back behind the plate. They're trying to get, a read on what's going on here. One of them's going to snap. One of them's an old guy who's been around forever is going to lose it.
Is this going into play in the regular season?
Yes. It's not unlimited. Like each team, I believe, gets 2 chances, and it's one of those, if you get your first one right, you get another one. If you get it wrong.
So it's like a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge system, exactly. And it's not unlimited, and there's more details to it than I'm giving right now, but we'll know. We got to make sure we do the precursor and know exactly what's happening come opening day. But it's not unlimited challenges. Each team has a couple of them, but it's gonna. I mean, there's a strategy to it too. Like,
don't you think there could be a positive, Brian, where they could, like, the umps are going to say, like, we better smarten up, like, we got to be sharp.
Right, but I don't think they're trying to get the strike zone wrong. I mean,
No,
you're right,
I
though.
get it.
Like, it could affect their feel for the game in a positive way. Like, don't be stupid and call a strike when it's not, or a ball
Some
when it's
guy
not.
was out cream the night before, and he's mailing it in, and maybe he'll change his view process.
That never comes up, man. We talk about players playing hungover all the time. How many refs and umps are just so hungover out there and have no idea what's happening?
Dude, just
100%.
sweating out brown liquor with a mask on.
In, like, gray flannels.
Yeah.
In 95-degree heat.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've been licking our wounds up here the last couple of days. We've been reluctant to have an American on, but we're gonna break that code. Day 2. It only happened a couple of days ago. Here's a guy we've had on a bunch in the past. Love having him on. Here's Jeremy Ronic. How you doing, JR?
Hey, guys. I'm glad your reluctancy was opened up and freed with me. I'll take that as a gift. Thank you, guys.
Yes, it's an honor, I'm sure. I'm sure it's an honor.
Of course it is.
That must have been cool. I mean, you're one of the voices of American hockey. You've been that way for 30-plus years. You're on that, back in '96 when they won the World Cup. Obviously, that was the last time America won best on best against Canada. How cool, how proud of that moment was that for you on Sunday?
Oh, it was really cool, and we needed that in America. I mean, we needed that to spur on our next generation. And you're right. I've always been second fiddle to Canada, and I've understood it, and which is why we love the rivalry, which is why we take it so seriously when we get to match up against the Canadians. And they were, it was so close last year in the Four Nations, and the hockey was so great that to have that final again this year was so special, and to be able to squeak one out. And when I say squeak one out, that's an understatement. And, no matter how it gets done, sometimes it's not pretty. Sometimes you maybe don't deserve to win, but you do. We definitely didn't have the best team on Sunday, but we had the best goalie. And in a one-game series, we've seen many, many times a goaltender can win a game for you. And Hellebuck won the game. And, the guys surrounded each other and supported each other and got the job done. They took advantage of the great opportunity that they had, and the Canadians didn't. I mean, that's what happens in a one-game series, and we'll take it. It wasn't pretty, but we'll take it.
JR, what do you think the most important factor in American hockey is? I've seen their development. I do the World Juniors every year, and they put together such great teams there, and they were stacked, and it seems like all the programs are excelling. Like, what do you think NHL players, like playing in Arizona and southern markets and having their kids play hockey there, like where did all this come from? What do you think was the most important factor for all these guys and how good they are at USA Hockey?
Yeah, well, I think we took a page out of Hockey Canada, right? We set up programs all over the country and set up, travel teams and, AAA teams and AAA leagues to put together, our USA training facility in Michigan, and the development program has done a lot to make sure that kids have the opportunity to play and have the best teaching and the best coaching, and getting more arenas to allow more kids the opportunity to play. In Canada, there are arenas every corner. We're starting to get that in more places in the States because of the popularity, because of what USA Hockey is doing, investing into youth hockey. And I think it's paying off. We're winning junior championships. We're getting closer in world championships. Our women's teams are always competitive and winning more than the men are. So we're just doing a good job of putting the money where it needs to go and getting good coaching. And with wins like this, we're going to have more kids that are going to go to the rink this week. They're going to sign up to skate. They're going to sign up to play hockey. And those kids are going to grow into the next generation. It's pretty special. I mean, we're way behind in Canada when it comes to the love of the game, but we're definitely getting better in allowing more kids to play it.
So, JR, you talked about the program growing. How special do you think it was to have Johnny Gaudreau's family there, and obviously his jersey hanging in the locker room throughout the duration of it? The guys talked about it. I mean, from the outside, I'm sure you knew Johnny and you knew the people in the program. How do you think that was received within the group?
I think it was one of the best stories of the Olympics, especially of the gold medal game. The jersey has been in that locker room for every international match, from the Four Nations last year to the World Championships and now in the Olympics. But, to take it to that level where they literally grabbed the kids and made the kids part of that celebration, to see Johnny's parents in the stands. And, I cried. I'm not going to lie. I cried with sadness of losing Johnny. I cried of the patriotism and the brotherhood that hockey shows. And it's not just America. I mean, I'm sure it would have been the same in Canada if that was the case. That's just what hockey players are all about. And I was so proud to be part of the hockey community during this whole Olympic season. And, to come out on top is a bonus. But Johnny Hockey was important to USA Hockey. He was important to Canada Hockey in Calgary. He's loved up there. Just goes to show you that sometimes there are more important things than just sports. And, we kind of merge them together on Sunday.
JR, it's O-Dog asking you this question. Are you hiking up a mountain, or do you have no clothes on, or what are you up to right now?
I just got off the elliptical just to talk to you, Owie, just to talk to you.
Jesus, put it on a lower setting.
Hey, listen, if I'm turning you on, I'm sorry, but it's not the first time I've ever turned you on. So I love you. I love you so much.
So good.
I've always loved you.
With Jeremy Ronic. So, now everyone's trying to everyone's wondering how do players take this experience and apply it to the NHL? How does it affect their legacies? Everyone's got a different viewpoint on that. And obviously here in Toronto, we're hyper focused on Austin Matthews. He needed this. I think he's worthy of it. He's been a great, great player. Everyone loves him up here in Toronto. But unfortunately, he's been on the wrong side of these games throughout his career, with the Leafs last year at the Four Nations. How does this win, him being the captain of the team, how does it maybe change your view of Austin Matthews?
Well, my view hasn't changed at all. Austin is one of my favorite, not just players, but one of my favorite people in the game. I've known Austin since he was 10 years old. He actually played on my son's team in Phoenix growing up. I've been on the ice with him as a kid, so I've watched him progress and become the player that he's become. And he's one of the best goal scorers and one of the best players in the game. And yes, he hasn't gotten it done. He takes a beating in the media because in the big games, maybe he hasn't been the one to get Toronto over the hump. But I think he accepts that. He understands that, and he wants to get over the hump. I mean, Austin could have probably left, and he doesn't. He stays there because he loves Toronto. He wants to see Toronto be successful. I think this win is going to boost his confidence to another level. To be a captain of an Olympic gold medal team for his country is something that is very rare. And I think he can take that and use that as his motivation going back into Toronto. He's going to get a lot of accolades and going to get a lot of attention when he gets back. But he's also going to be under scrutiny. But I think he's capable of doing that. Listen, he was a monster in Italy. Defensively, he was unbelievable. His face-off plays were he had 7 points in 6 games. I think he needed this. And yeah, he hasn't won, but who has it worse? Does Austin Matthews have it worse, or does Connor McDavid, who's been to 2 finals, lost 2 finals, and now has lost an Olympic gold? It's you can go after anybody if you want to, but I think Austin has a goal in mind, and that's to win the Stanley Cup for Toronto. And I certainly hope that he comes back and from the White House tonight and plays tomorrow, because I think that would show a really big commitment to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
JR, how much do you think these guys have an attachment to the winning part? Like, we obviously talk about it a lot up here in Toronto because the Leafs simply haven't getting it done. But for some of these great players, the McDavids, the Matthews, like, you're a big-time player. Like, how much attachment did you put to winning, and how much do you think these guys should be, the way they're evaluated and basically looked at for their careers?
Everything, though. It's everything. It's a huge black spot in my career. I have not missed the raising of the Stanley Cup in 40 years. I've watched it for 40, 45 years. I've been envious, and I've been very frustrated that I didn't get to win it. I will never understand what that celebration is like. And I think these guys that have great careers, that score goals and get points, and known as some of the best players, but to have that stigma of some of the best players that have never won. And granted, it's a team game. It is the hardest trophy to win. I get it, but I think it's everything for Connor McDavid. I think it's everything for Austin Matthews, and I think it's everything for the players that haven't won it. It's very frustrating, buddy.
Well, it's always great catching up with you, Jeremy. We appreciate you doing this. Congrats to your side on Sunday. It was obviously a great tournament, unbelievable game, unbelievable celebration, and we'll get you again in 4 years. 4 years from now, we got it circled up here.
There's no question, and I expect it. Like I said, we will take it. We weren't the best team, but we had the best goaltender, and we needed this for the country, and I look forward to the next one. But both teams were absolutely spectacular to watch. It was probably one of the best hockey games I've seen ever.
Yep, phenomenal. Yeah, great stuff. Thank you, JR. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Speedy Big O. Take care, buddy.
Yeah, see it, pal.
Jeremy Ronic.
Just off the elliptical.
Right off the elliptical. I love that. Just in time to take our call. And listen, his last answer was pretty raw, about winning. And again, we can talk about it externally forever, and we will. Legacy talk, GOAT talk, all that kind of stuff. And that's the world we live in. I think that's just what fans do. You compare resumes. It's what makes sports so great. But I think what Ronic is saying, and I think what McDavid wrote in the Players Tribune prior to going to the Olympics is he is aware of it. Like, of course he's aware of it. He knows what it means. It's so uncomfortable to label players in different categories and in different ways. But he has probably reached the point where, in fact, I think it's undeniable. Like, he's the greatest player ever who hasn't won. Now, he has the luxury of being a guy that gets to play for another 10 years. So
Right.
I believe he'll win a gold because he'll be there in 4 years. He'll be there in 8. I don't think Canada's going 3 straight without winning a gold. Like, I think he's going to get that gold. Now, until you get it, you're obviously going to be thinking about it, and you're going to try to go out and find it. I can't sit here and guarantee he's going to win a Stanley Cup anymore. I thought for sure he would when he was 18. You give me a 20-year career, McDavid, I thought 100%. I can't sit here and guarantee it anymore. He'll be 30 after this year. If he doesn't win it this year, he's 11 years into his career.
Yeah,
we'll see.
You know what? The story, he's still got to write it. That's the thing. Whether, somebody sent me a note today saying that Lionel Messi didn't win his first championship till he was 34 years old. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that. I mean, again, that's
that's got to be with Argentina, I would think.
How old is he now?
Yeah. Yes. Well, he's late 30s.
Yeah.
I mean, with Barcelona, when he was with Barcelona, they would have won cups and championships and stuff like that.
It's just interesting things, That's the point is McDavid's got probably 10 more years. It goes quick, man. You gotta find a way. Like, that's the biggest.
And it's
challenge
almost
for
he's
these
in
guys.
a very unique situation. It's almost like, and I don't know if it's really possible, but he wants it too much. Where it's just everybody says to just, you're around this world once, like, take time to just stop and
Relax.
smell the roses. Yeah, like it almost seems like he can't take a deep breath and enjoy, and maybe he does because I'm not around the guy 24/7, but it's a very unique situation. Like, if you look at a Patrick Kane, like he was an elite player who was a part of an elite group in Chicago. It wasn't like Patrick Kane had the best player in the universe label on him where it was like ultra focused and spotlight on him and what are you going to do in this game 7, where Showtime, he seemed to have that relaxation where he could just brush everything off and just go out there and wheel and deal and say, I'm Showtime, and chew on this and watch this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just when you're the best player in the world, you're in a very unique situation. But the one luxury he has, he's basically got the second best player in the world riding shotgun with him. But
well, that's it. Like, honestly, Draisaitl might be the second player on that list. Second greatest player ever to have not won a cup.
Yes. Yes.
He really might be. He might be number 2.
I don't even think there's a question, Brian. I don't. Like, he's probably the second best player that hasn't won yet. But it's just like anything else. The Maple Leafs were gifted Austin Matthews. The Edmonton Oilers were gifted Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. You also got to put a team around them.
Of course.
On that team is got to be a goaltender if possible. Has that happened for either of the 10 years that these guys have been in both markets? Has Edmonton given Connor McDavid a stud goaltender? They've had Stuart Skinner. I don't know if he's a stud. The Leafs have had Jack Campbell and Freddie Anderson and Stolars and Wall. Like, is that a stud goaltender? I don't know. The whole team, you could go through every position.
You absolutely need help. Of course, you need help.
Yes. To go that many games and that deep in the playoffs, you've seen it. Those guys are so good. They dragged their team to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 times, but it wasn't enough.
You need luck too, guys.
You do. You do,
need
man.
Luck. Like, you need health. Like, Hyman breaking his hand, that hurt Edmonton last year. Like, that type of stuff, you need luck. Sometimes the best team, obviously the best when you're in the Final Four and that, might be the most healthiest team, too.
The first year they're in the finals, Leon Draisaitl couldn't hold a stick. He had a screwed-up hand. I think Evander Kane was hurt. It's just like those guys were such important players.
But at the end of the day, you don't put that in this.
No one remembers
there's
that.
no asterisk
exactly.
going. You don't this
No one
and that,
remembers.
Right?
Hey,
Stevie
Dan
Yzerman
Marino
couldn't walk in the finals against our team, but they won the cup.
They won.
Yeah,
exactly. No one remembers. Did Dan Marino have a great offensive line in the '88 season? I don't know. He just didn't win.
Yeah.
That's all I know. He didn't win. Best Bets coming up. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live. All right, Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds in the FanDuel Sportsbook app. We know the Raptors' history this year of playing teams that are better than them, or at least have a better win-loss record. It is not positive. It's not a good one.
Garbage.
But it's brutal. But
4-13 or something.
Thunder are like
terrible.
Shea's out, Williams is out. You know, they're a 2.5-point favorite. Like at some point, something's got to break here for you. Right? Like some point, you got to get one of these wins. And in Oklahoma City, they're not obviously anywhere close to who they have been in the past because of the injuries they're dealing with, Shea in particular. But Williams being out too is huge. So I'm going to lay the points. It's up to 2.5. I'm going to take the Raptors to break through here. It's got to happen at some point. Best Bets powered by FanDuel. From tip-off to the final buzzer, same-game parlays around the NBA are available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 19 plus, physically located in Ontario. All right, there you go. Good stuff. Good stuff today. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, and up on YouTube Live. Every show up on TSN's YouTube channel. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at...
Hazy, you had a good show today because you weren't intimidated. 4 p.m.?
We'll chat then.